Hey, I'm Randy Younger, New York City's go to film enthusiast. Every week, I dive deep into the world of cinema with special guests from the New York City film scene. Whether I'm interviewing industry insiders or comparing the latest releases, there's always something for every movie lover. Join me as I explore the magic of film and discover what makes these movies unforgettable. Hey guys, Randy Younger here. I'm in the radar where we talk all things film. And with me tonight, I have one of my favorite people on the planet, Mr. Tyler Michael. Welcome back to the show, Tyler.
Thank you, Randy. And the feeling is mutual. It's great to be back and to see you and talk movies with you as always.
I mean, it's always a delight. You know that. And we could talk about anything, any genre, any era, as long as it's film related, even non-film related. I love talking to you. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Same with you. Same with you.
Thank you, sir. So tonight we're going to be discussing two films, two very weird science fiction comedies. But the common thread here, not only are they extremely weird but awesome, they feature the acting talents of Mr. Sam Rockwell, Academy Award winner, who's been acting for a while now. And I just felt that these two movies complement each other very well. They are, of course, the we're going to be discussing the first film is the fairly new release. It's called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. A lovely science fiction adventure comedy. And we're going to basically segue into that a little later with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from 2005. Both films very weird, very funny actually, and very interesting themes are presented and messages. But of course, Sam Rockwell is featured in both. And I just wanted to talk about Rockwell's career a little bit. At least when I first discovered him, it was actually back in 1999 when he was not only in two great movies, but it was Galaxy Quest, and he was also in The Green Mile. And these were the two films that I noticed him first. And he would move on to some very good dramatic and comedic work. He's basically the go-to quirky actor. And those who want to go even further back in time, I would go back to 1990, where he had a very small part in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the live action. I think he was in the late teens there. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, he was there. He played he worked for the gang under Shredder. So he's kind of like an underling. And there's a scene where he's passing out cartons of cigarettes, if you remember that, Tyler.
I do
You
remember
remember
indeed. I
that?
can't believe that was him. I
That
never would have
was
noticed.
that was definitely him. That was one of his first parts, and he would move on many decades later. I believe it was 2017 or 18. He won his first Academy Award for three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. He won for Best Supporting Actor. He was also nominated for a few other films as well. Over his long career, he's accumulated many awards, many other accolades, and he's just a very reliable actor, very competent, and he's one of those actors that when he appears in a film, he elevates it. And these two films are perfect examples of that form of elevation. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. The first of our Sam Rockwell sci-fi comedies is still in theaters, actually, but I believe it's going to be leaving soon. But you could also rent it on Fandango and Amazon Prime Video. And it is, of course, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And this is a very strange movie, but I had some fun watching it, I must say. It is actually the first film directed by Gore Verbinski in a decade. Actually, his previous film was A Cure for Wellness. And it's interesting that he would pick this movie as his return to form. And it was a pretty good one. It's a fun one. The premise of this weird little tale basically it focuses on Sam Rockwell's character. He is the man from the future who one night enters a diner in Los Angeles, and he is there to basically recruit patrons of the diner to be on his team of people to basically join him and save the world. And by saving the world, of course, would be going to battle with a rogue artificial intelligence. And along the way, you don't know whether this guy is insane or if he's actually legitimately a man from the future. All of that will be revealed to you through the course of this crazy little adventure. It's got actually a very good supporting cast too. Real quick, we've got Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Asim Chowdhury, and Juno Temple. And these people, they're basically people, they're patrons of this diner, and they could not be any more different. But Sam Rockwell's character brings them together and takes them on this quest to save the world. And the film's a little long. It is over 2 hours, but you know what? It's actually kind of a fun ride. It's violent, it's quirky, it's weird, and Rockwell is definitely at the forefront here. He's the leader of this group, and what happens throughout the film. There's a lot of twists and turns, and I won't spoil it, obviously, but I just want to say it is a fun ride. So, Tyler, I want to hear your thoughts on Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Well, judging by the title, it sounded like a fun movie. I mean, a very
Right.
direct title on what kind of film is it's setting up to be. Kind of like, Doctor Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Like that title alone, is just as funny as Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. So it lets you know you're in for like some kind of comedy,
True.
which I was glad. And upon seeing it, I was hooked throughout the whole time. I was really invested. Yes, I agree it was a little too long,
Mhm.
but I knew some of the twists.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to spoil them here, but let's just say whether or not Sam Rockwell's character is telling the truth or not, I won't spoil it, but it's kind of obvious to me. But
Hmm.
with that said, the characters are fascinating. I love how the film particularly breaks up into separate stories of some of the patrons that are with Sam Rockwell's character during this escape from the diner and onto their location
Hmm.
to save the world, which I will
Right.
not spoil what it is. And there were some really profound themes found in the film about AI taking over the world, people being so focused on their cell phones, the younger generation per se, where they're just pretty much like mindless zombies.
Yeah.
How school shootings
Right.
are not real, how people react to school shootings nowadays as not being affected by them unless it's their kid. And it was just a very wild film and very funny at the same time, with some decent action, nothing spectacular by any means, but keeps you invested. These
Yeah.
characters are intriguing and they're fun to be around. The only problem I have with the film is it feels like it was written by someone who really hates AI, which don't get me wrong, I am not a big fan of AI in many categories,
Hmm.
but I do believe there's a use of balancing it out as a tool,
Right.
just not as a way to like say replace actors, writers, all that stuff, like more of a guidance, if you will. And
Hmm.
this film is like, no, the people that are to blame for it are the people using their phones. It's the younger generation who are getting sucked into it. It's not the company's fault by any means. The film hardly ever addresses that, which
Right.
kind of makes it come a bit of a bit shallow in its execution.
Hmm.
But I still enjoyed the film. I
Hmm.
still think there are some good messages in it, just a little clumsily executed at times. But
Hmm.
overall, a fun experience. And that's the best way I can describe the film. Thoughtful at times, but mainly just fun,
Yeah.
along with intriguing characters who I really love to know about. And again, I just loved how this film just had different stories to tell while still
Right.
being coherent to the main one.
Now, you did touch on some very important themes that are presented throughout the film: school shootings, AI, social media, using, especially young people using their phones. These themes are definitely touched upon, but in a comedic way. Well, not so much the
Hmm.
school shootings, but they're told in a way that's, it's kind of like a casual thing, like almost comedic. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, and maybe that's the way to get these themes and these messages across to audiences. Like if they're presented with AI in a negative light, or a very dark light, dark way of putting it, then audiences would be turned off. But I think this film does it in a way that's very easy to digest. And that's what I really appreciated about it. I wanted a little bit more of the side character development. Like you did mention the segments of each patron. I thought that was very clever. I think they could have expanded upon certain characters, especially the high school teachers. One of them was played by it was Zazie Beetz and Michael Pena. I love that scene. There's a scene where I won't get into it, but basically, the students. You know what? I can't describe it without spoiling it. So, guys, see this movie, please. There is a lot to unpack. The messages are really, uh, displayed
Mhm.
well here. So that is probably the biggest takeaway. My main,
Yeah.
my main draw for me was Sam Rockwell. I mean, I've loved his acting, like I said, ever since Galaxy Quest, since 1999, and he's at the forefront here. He's the leading actor here. He's in the poster. The trailer has him. They show him as this crazy guy from the future, maybe. I don't know. Hey, but yeah, he looks great. He looks like he's straight out of Blade Runner, which is brilliant. And I love his weird off the wall acting. I think he is the perfect actor to play the man from the future.
He
So
certainly carries the film.
yeah, and it's an ensemble cast, I must say. So, but I don't think this film performed as well as I think the filmmakers wanted. I mean, I think
Mm.
it did okay, but I think it could have done better. It was released, I think, about 2 or 3 months ago, but and it's weird too because it has a feeling of a big blockbuster, but at the same time, kind of a smaller film. So it's kind of like it's not A-list and it's not C-list. It's kind of almost like a B movie in a way, with a really big director attached. Gore Verbinski, of course.
Mhm.
Most people probably know him from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Curse of the Black Pearl, the first installment of many. He basically set the tone for the Pirates films, and you can tell that he has a very keen eye when it comes to filmmaking. He knows what he's doing. And each sequence in the film, especially the action sequences and the use of extras and the set design, sound design, music, everything, I think we have to credit Mr. Verbinski for crafting a wonderful film here. And I think personally, it's going to develop over time a cult following because it has a lot of elements that make it kind of a smaller, likable film that, a bunch of guys like you and I, Tyler, to just spend like an afternoon watching or, and just hanging out. This is a good group movie, I must say. And I'm a little sad that we didn't get to see it together. So,
Same here. This is definitely a film to watch among friends
yeah.
because it has a ton of entertainment value with its jokes, its dark themes, its very intriguing characters, as I said earlier. And personally, uh, despite some botched messages, I do feel
Mm,
like this will be more relevant as time goes on.
right.
Because again, uh, I saw another film where I was thinking about having an anti-AI theme, but
Mm.
also looking at the pros of it was actually a film that I didn't think I would like, which was Megan 2.
Okay.
And in that film, well, Megan 2.0.
Right.
And in that film, I like how the message in that one is, yes, AI is deadly, but there can be a use for it. We just need to put some safety precautions. We need to know how to use it
Right.
rather than, abuse it or
Right.
use it to replace human beings, our part as humans. And that's what
Right.
I was kind of hoping this film would probably have to say. Because again, there are a lot of things about AI I do not support. I don't want to be an AI apologist, but I do think there are some helpful qualities to it in certain situations,
Sure.
particularly, editing and writing, coming
Right.
up with, need, using them in video games, when you're
Mhm.
fighting against an AI computer. I do think that there is some merit in AI. It just depends how you use it and what you're using it for. And
Right.
I just wish the film addressed that. And in short, if I had any other criticisms, I would say that the designs for the monsters and robots that appear pretty creative, but the CGI little way overused.
Yeah.
That's
Not
the
great.
only other complaint I can think of.
Right. I think they touched on AI and social media appropriately, and they didn't like kind of bang it over our heads. and I did respect that, but maybe they could have pushed it a little further. I kind of agree. Um,
Yeah.
the CGI was a little strange. There's a scene with a giant cat. I'm gonna leave it at that. It looked
Yeah.
strange, very weird. At some moments, actually, there's a few moments where the film thought it was more clever than it actually was, and it tried to be overly cute, and that kind of took me out of it sometimes. But you know what?
Mm.
That's a minor complaint. I think overall I enjoyed the film, and I think it's one of the better sci-fi comedies in the last couple of years, in my opinion. And
Oh, definitely.
and throughout I'm going to go back to the 80s. Sci-fi comedies obviously are my favorite. Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Inner Space. That's my bread and butter. That's what I live for. So it was good to see a movie in the sci-fi comedy genre that kind of thrives a bit. And I think this film, like a fine wine, I think it's going to age well over time. And I think it'll be appreciated with multiple viewings. So again, I recommend it to those who just want a fun ride. And if you are a Sam Rockwell completist, definitely check this out. Again, it is available to rent on Fandango and Amazon Prime Video, and I believe it is still playing in theaters. I know it's definitely playing at the Alamo Draft House still in New York City, so check it out. And yeah, good luck, have fun, don't die. So I just want to move into another Sam Rockwell film with kind of a similar theme, kind of a similar premise ish. This one's from 2005, actually. So we're going back 21 years to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I'll be honest, I think I saw this when it first came out, so I definitely needed a refresher. So I saw it yesterday, and I'll tell you, this one's a lot of fun too. I know this has developed a cult following over the years. And just a little background, for those who don't know, it was originally a series of books, I believe in the 70s. And throughout the 80s, there was a TV show. The author, Douglas Adams, in 1982, signed an option for the film with producers Ivan Reitman, Joe Medjuck, and Michael C. Gross, and completed three scripts for them. As part of the rewrites, Medjuck and Gross offered the idea of bringing it either Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd to play Mos Def's character. However, Aykroyd separately proposed a different story to Reitman, which led to this project becoming the basis for Ghostbusters. So I believe, yeah, they originally wanted like more of a like an alien element in Ghostbusters, but I think it was too expensive at the time, so they kind of scrapped that. And over the decades, Hitchhikers was kind of in development hell, unfortunately. Right before the writer Douglas Adams' death in 2001, producer Jay Roach, he brought in screenwriter Carrie Kirkpatrick to complete the screenplay based on Adams' final draft, which was submitted before his death. So, yeah, the producer Jay Roach, he was involved. We all know him best from the Austin Powers movies and the Meet the Parents movies. And yeah, this movie had a very long history of development. But thankfully, in 2005, we finally got the film, and it is a strange one indeed. And, those who are casual fans like me, we went in kind of cold. And I don't know, Tyler, if you knew anything about the franchise at all. Did you go in cold?
Completely frozen. I didn't know a single thing about this until
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So it's a strange one, but it's actually a really funny movie. Basically, takes place. It starts off on planet Earth, in England, I believe, and Martin Freeman plays kind of this everyman, an average Joe, whose planet Earth, gets demolished. But right before everyone on the planet is obliterated, he is basically teleported onto a spaceship with his friend who it might be an alien, but
He is.
basically he is an alien, played by Mos Def, and these two go on an adventure and they encounter Sam Rockwell, who plays the president of the galaxy, who has two heads. I won't get into that too much, but he has two heads, one at a time, and I think three arms. But and Zoe Deschanel is also there along for the ride. She's the love interest to Martin Freeman's character. And I know I've said a lot in the last 2, 3 minutes, and I apologize for that. But this movie has a lot, and there is a lot going on. The action is good. The jokes are pretty funny. It's a kind of British humor, but in a good, it's good stuff. It's relatable to Americans. And I want to mention the special effects and the costume design. There are these creatures who were designed by the Jim Henson Creature Shop Company. And you'll see them when you see the movie. They're very labyrinth, very dark crystal, and they look great. And the story's good too. I was along for the ride. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think Alan Rickman was brilliant. He was the voice of a paranoid robot. And yeah, it's just very strange imagery, strange jokes, but they land. And I was along for the ride. I don't know about you. How about you? Were you along for this ride, Tyler?
I was, from
Mhm.
a humor standpoint. From a plot
Mhm.
standpoint, it's easy to follow, but it's definitely secondary in this film. From what I gathered, you are right. This is a script that was written by the original creator. However, what the draft was when the other person took over was basically just filling in the gaps, trying to bridge all these separate jokes together, and that's what this film feels like to me. It feels like a bridge of separate jokes that could work well on their own, but as a story, as a film, it feels all over the place. Which I don't
Mm.
mind if you're going into
Yeah,
this in a Monty Python esque kind of mindset.
right.
But when you're looking at a film with a middle, beginning, or end, it's there, but it doesn't feel like that's the focus.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like the film gives you a lot of imagination to want to know more about this world. Everything just goes by so fast before you can process everything. There
Hmm.
are some characters it builds on,
Mhm.
but they don't last long enough to leave like uh to leave you some wonder, shall we say,
Right.
to make you want to study these characters more,
Right.
even though the effects in this film are very good for the time. Like, yeah, some
Yeah.
dated CGI, but incredible puppetry.
Yeah.
I really love the film's mixture of practicals and computer effects. My favorite character in the whole film is the robot voiced by Alan Rickman, who is pretty much, which, by the way, not only is he voiced by Alan Rickman, but Warwick Davis is in the suit.
Right.
So you have Warwick Davis with Alan Rickman's voice doing a robotic Eeyore type of character, which I always thought was funny every single time he appeared in the film. And yeah, it has a likable cast.
Yeah.
Um, I will also say that Sam Rockwell is the only character I really can't stand in this movie. I love the concept of him being like a two-faced president who has the persona of a rock star with the knowledge of George W. Bush. But
Right.
yeah, no, but when the film tries to make me like him,
Mm.
that's where I lose touch with the movie. And I
Yeah.
won't spoil how. I'm just
Right.
saying he's not meant to be a 100% likable character, but when the film tries to woo me to his side, I don't buy it. But I do
Mhm.
get laughs from him, and that's really what the film really should go in with that mindset. That's a film that's meant to be for fun, nothing more.
Right. Right.
It's not as clever as something like, say, Spaceballs, but it is a fun
Right.
sci-fi romp, at least in my opinion.
And I'll be honest with you, I keep going back to Galaxy Quest. It's one of my all-time favorite science fiction comedies with Rockwell, or in general. And this movie kind of feels like it has that tone about it, kind of like almost satire, very cheeky, almost meta. And I love that. And I think Rockwell was perfectly cast here. I also
Mm-hmm.
want to mention that Jim Carrey was considered to play the role as well as oh, what is his name? Sorry. Uh, Zaphod Beeblebrox is the character's name. He's this ridiculous character with two heads, and basically
Mm-hmm.
he's sort of got this overblown, this over the top Elvis type of persona, which is very appropriate actually. And but yeah, I don't like him at all. I don't like the character's choices, but I like the character in general, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like he's appealing. He's charismatic.
He's fun to watch.
Right.
I
Um,
just don't like when the film tries to make me like him at points. That's where I draw the line. And I do want to mention one other thing I have an issue with the film.
mm,
There's too many plot conveniences.
mhm,
Like, well, in other words, if the film if the film wasn't trying to be a complete narrative, like trying to function as a narrative, I could forgive these plot conveniences.
mhm,
But since it is,
yeah.
it just I have a good sense of humor. I think it's funny, but there are so many times where where I'm letting this film get away with it, and I don't really think that much about these kind of things when I watch a
Right.
film. So if it's making a point to something too noticeable, there is a problem. But overall, a fun time if you don't take it seriously.
There
And
you
to be
go.
fair, that's what the film is aiming to do. Not asking you to take it too seriously,
Yeah.
but just have fun with it. And if you just go in having fun with it, you'll have a good time.
I think if you shut your brain off a little bit here and just kind of roll with it, it's a really fun ride. Again, the visuals are very strong. Marvin the
Yes.
robot is perfect. I think it's brilliant that Warwick Davis was in that suit. And yeah, that coupled with Rickman's voice was perfect. And even the sets on on the spaceships were great.
Oh yeah.
Everything with those the bureaucratic aliens, they looked wonderful. Vogons, I think they're called, yeah, Vogons, and they look great. They definitely reminded me of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Quasimodo, played by Charles Lawton. They sounded just like him, and they were just really done again by the Jim Henson Company. And yeah, I'm just surprised that there wasn't a sequel because this movie definitely had that opportunity. I would have loved to see maybe even a spin-off TV series, kind of like what they did in the 80s. But this movie kind of just stopped in 2005, and that's kind of a disappointment because there's a lot of this movie's ripe with it's a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential here for more material. Actually, it just dawned on me. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Doctor Who, just slightly, kind of in that same vein. And fans of that would definitely appreciate this. So I'm going to say that this is one of the better science fiction comedies to come out of the early 2000s. Galaxy Quest was 99, so it ju was just under the wire. But this one is in '05, so I think it was a good way to start off the 21st century in terms of this genre. So yeah, I say check it out. You don't have to be a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe completist, but it is worth your time. Like I said earlier, I saw it back when it first came out, and it kind of went over my head. I wasn't really a huge fan at the time, but now, many years later, I am a believer. This is a fun film. So, Tyler, closing thoughts on Hitchhikers?
You summed it up just as well.
Okay.
I do think it's a fun film. Not a perfect one by any means, not a groundbreaker like or something as clever as I said like Spaceballs or Galaxy Quest,
Right.
but a fun romp with a lot of good things to keep one entertained till the very end with some really good jokes that hit bullseyes many
Mhm.
times. It was a fun ride and I recommend it to those that are just looking to be entertained if they like sci-fi comedies.
Yeah. It's definitely.
I don't know how it is as an adaptation of the show in books.
Mm,
It could be completely horrible, but judging it as a standalone,
yeah.
it's definitely worth someone's time in terms of entertainment value.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything from fans of the actual books and the franchise as a whole. Um, but I'm hoping that they appreciated it. I know I sure, I mean, I enjoyed it just as a casual fan. Yeah,
Well, if I may add something,
sure.
now I did a little research, just a
Okay.
little. Um, there are a few things. There is at least one thing that fans weren't fond of, and that was
Okay.
the opening joke with the bulldozer. Let's to condense it, rather than having beer be the distraction, the guy actually talks the guy that's about to bulldoze his house to lie in front of the bulldozer instead,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sounds a lot funny, which sounds funnier than the actual joke we had in the film, which the joke by itself works fine if I had no context. But I
Right.
can kind of see where fans are coming from.
Hmm.
And also how the guy reveals his other head.
Yeah.
Uh well, it's much better in the movie than it is on the show, I'll give it that. So
Right. I
It's
saw
very creative how they show it
I saw
in the film.
I think I saw an image of it from the 80 the series from the 80s.
Mhm.
It looked like paper mache. Like it's
Yes, it's
you
a fake
know,
looking head,
very
very
fake.
fake.
Yeah, so they did a good job.
And
So
I
yeah.
Yeah, and they did a good job updating it for the film, even though the technology may be a little dated at times, but I think it's more inventive than the show.
Yeah.
Again, I am only speaking from someone that's viewed little images from the show, heard a few things. I cannot guarantee that this is an accurate representation, even though it's written by the same guy.
Hmm.
I can only say that this is fun on its own terms.
And I just wanted to go back to Good Luck, no, Have Fun, Good Luck, Don't Die. Jeff Zanelli, he actually wrote a very, very good score, I must say. Very underrated,
Mm.
but it definitely highlighted the comedy and the action very well. I can say the same for Joby Talbot, who scored Hitchhikers, which is also a fairly strong score. So, and for some reason, science fiction films produce some really great music and because of the scope of everything, it's all very heroic and
Oh yeah.
triumphant and majestic and action packed. So the scores really come to play in sci-fi comedy. So I just want to mention that real quick. Also, closing note on Hitchhikers, I think Martin Freeman, who played Arthur Dent, the main character here, he was fantastic. I thought he was hilarious. People probably know him best from the Lord of the Rings movies and of course the Fargo TV series, which he's fantastic in that too. I believe he is British, and yeah, he is English, and he did a great job in the film. He also did a great job in Fargo, where he plays a Midwesterner. So, side note, I'm in the middle of watching Fargo right now, so I thought I'd just throw that in. But yeah, I think that about sums it up on Hitchhikers. Wonderful sci-fi comedy, very strange, very quirky, very, very cool, I must say. So that's available to rent and own on Amazon Prime Video. So check that out if you haven't already. And we are about out of time here, unfortunately. Tyler, any plugs for you? Anything going on?
Well, if you'd like to follow me, any of you out there, my Instagram is Tyler the Movie Maniac, which also links to my blog, Tyler the Movie Maniac, where I do film reviews. I do some short reviews on Instagram. I do a lengthier reviews on my blog. So that's what I'm currently doing at the moment. And the next review I'm posting is my summary on the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So if you love Lord of the Rings, definitely tune into my blog to see that.
Perfect, perfect. And I need to rewatch those too, mostly for Martin Freeman, who I'm sort of obsessed with. I think he's such a good actor. He's like a British Matt Damon in a weird way, but he's doing great. I love his work, so I'm sure he's great in Lord of the Rings, which I need to rewatch. But as for me, plugs on my end, you could check out Under the Radar on Slam Radio through SiriusXM channel 145. And that's Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 5 a.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, the video version of Under the Radar is available on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, and that's every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, feel free to subscribe to the Under the Radar YouTube channel, and you'll see all my episodes and interviews there. So, Tyler, thank you. You're awesome. This was a lot of fun. I hope to have you again real soon on the show.
I would love to.
Anytime, sir. You know that. Anytime. So, guys, I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. We'll see you next time. Take care.